G'day folks, welcome to another edition of Bandaged Cube Creations. Well, today's puzzle is called Stalactites, and if I hold it like that, you'll most certainly see why. If you don't know what a stalactite is, just Google it, and you'll see it's some kind of ice formation that happens in caves and stuff like that. And you normally have these bits that sort of hang down at different levels. And so what we've got here is a bar at front right, and we've got two clocks at front to front up and right to right up. That's the only bandage pieces on this puzzle. So let's get scrambling. Obviously, it reminds you a little bit of a big block scenario because you've kind of got most of this stuff here. The difference, certainly in scrambling, is that apart from just doing this, and on a big block, if you think about it, this is about all we can do because nothing else moves. On this one, what we've also got is this ability to release this white-red. So we can do that, or I'll do the white-blue first. I can turn that off and bring the white-blue out into circulation. And every time I do something like that, I'll do it to the white-red as well, and perhaps put those in there like that. It does mean, obviously, that I can turn my upper face. And normally on a big block, I cannot do that. As soon as I put it back in, that bar is stopping the upper face from turning. So that increases the difficulty of what's going on for sure. And it does lead to interesting stuff. And I'm always looking for what sort of sequences can I use on a cube. Can I do this the same way as I might do something else? If not, what do I have to change? How difficult does it become if I have to do new algorithms? And that's the sort of questions that are going on with this puzzle. You might be wondering, can you flip edges? The answer is yes, you can. And anytime you can turn that upper face, as well as these two faces, I should say, you certainly can do that. It's just very slightly more involved. Now, what else can I do? Most of this stuff is now scrambled. You can look at that and say, oh, just take that off. That looks better. No, it doesn't, because now it's sitting here. And as with a lot of bandage puzzles, it's quite difficult to scramble stuff in the way that you would think, oh yeah, that looks good. Because I could move that out of the way, but then it puts this thing here, which matches up there. So in any event, it's all good. What we could do now is try and move things around, but the problem is the clocks don't move, they just rotate. So if I do that, yes, I can put that there. I can do something like this, move that bar, but really I'm not kind of going anywhere. If I do it there, I've got that face that I can turn, and I've got that face. So it's sort of changed the two faces that I can turn. If I was to go and do that, I've really only got one face that I can turn now. So not a whole lot you can do apart from doing a few little rotations and then getting on with your life, which is exactly what we're going to do now. So I've tried to scramble this one a little bit. Don't know if it worked, but the very first thing, of course, is to return the bar and the two clocks into their rightful place. So this is a red-blue bar. And I've got to think, okay, so it's going in this position here. Does it go like that? Yes, it does, because the white center matches with the corner there. So that wasn't too difficult. That clock needs to be turned. And so for that, I'll just rotate it, put it into position. I'm getting there. I've got this clock that needs to be turned. And there you go. So the main structure is back. Now, clearly the next thing that I want to do is these two pieces here. So I'll do them in the same way that I kind of scrambled them initially. And the interesting thing is, okay, so if I want to place the white-blue, I can turn that in, but you'll see, yes, it is flipped. All right, so I've got to deal with that first. So perhaps I'll just turn it to there, rotate that off, and put that one in. Okay, the white-blue is in. Now, when I do the next one, I'm going to be turning this off, so it's not going to disrupt that white-blue. So I probably want the white-red somewhere over here with the white on top. So let's initially turn that around to there. Then I can go ahead and place it. and that whole big block structure is now complete. Now, when you solve the rest of it, you absolutely must have white at top. And the reason for that is if you have yellow, and say you go, I'll turn that off so I can move the upper face, you actually still can't because of that clock there. Whereas if you do it on the white face and you turn that off, you can turn the upper face because the clock is at the bottom. So that is the scenario we want, white at top. We're going to go through and start solving edges. These sort of central edges I'll do first. So the blue-orange belongs there. Let's just see if that turns into position. Yes, it does. I've got the green-red, which belongs there. That one is flipped. So let me first sort of flip it over using this technique. Now, normally what I do is bring this out and then turn my upper face. Now, because I'm really only involving those turns, I think what's blocking the upper face? It's the bar here. So if I turn that bar off, then I should be able to do exactly that without disrupting these pieces at the back. And you'll see that has happened. Hasn't disrupted that. It's put the green red in there as well. Okay, next two edges, this orange yellow, that should turn into place with a cycle. That one's done. The green orange does need to be flipped. And you can kind of, if we look at the other one that needs to be flipped, at first sight it looks like the white green, but it's not that one, it's the white orange, because if I try and put that white orange into place, you can see that is flipped. So I've always got to flip two edges at a time. I might as well flip this white orange and the green orange. So I'll get the green orange up to the top here. And these two are what I want to flip. Now, what I would normally do is a down, down, up, up. And then I would turn the upper face to go receive that green orange. Well, at the moment I can't. But the extra step that I want to do is simply to turn that left face away. Then I can. And I can bring the left face back. All edges should now be ready to go into their positions. So I've got the orange green to go here, the white green to here, and the orange white to go over here. Now, you'll notice that oftentimes we have options as to which direction or which faces we can turn first. But in this case, the only option we really have is to either do this face first and then this face, or this face first and then this face. And as it turns out, this is the one we've got. In other words, I can't turn the upper face and then turn one like that. So they always come to correct orientation at the end as long as those edges have been flipped through the course of the solve. So the edges are done. The next thing that I'd like to do is get these bottom two corners here. All right, this first one, yellow, blue, orange, is living there. That's not an ideal position, so I'll just look at the other one, see if that's any easier. Green, yellow, red. Yes, that is easier. That is just got to go to there. So what I could do here is simply turn that and then swap these two, which will also swap these two. 3 down, down, up, ups. All done. Undo the setup. That one is in and it happens to be oriented as well. Now the yellow, blue, orange, which has to go here. Well, I can do the same sort of thing, just do 2 turns there. All done. Again, that is oriented, not necessarily going to happen. Now these last 4 corners, because of the nature of the puzzle, I've not encountered any 3 cycle of these pieces. It's every single time been a 2+2 swap. So I'm going to go ahead and state with 99% certainty that you are always going to get a 2+2 swap. And I was trying to think through why that might happen. I know that the upper face is an issue, but then I was kind of thinking, well, you can sort of turn it. But I think the problem is, in order to turn it, you can't just turn it as it is. You have to move one of these other corners, which then, when you turn the upper face, moves the position of that corner as well. I think it's got something to do with that. Perhaps some smarter people out there can fill me in. but this means the hardest this will be is 3 down, down, up, ups at the end to place those two, to swap those two, and to swap those two. And all corners are in. Now for twisting, I did try and do it as simply as possible, but I concluded there is no simpler way than doing a Sune and a Sune mirror. So there may be some other incredibly involved sequence that involves up, up, down, downs, but I couldn't find one. And I kind of assume if I can't find one after looking for a fair while, it probably, not that it's not there, but it's unlikely to be there. So I'm going to use Sune and Sune mirror. And what I want to do is just hold the puzzle like this with the bar down at, what is that, left down position, like that. So I've got free turning of the right and the upper faces. And I want to put one corner to twist clockwise there and to twist anti-clockwise here if I can do it. That's clockwise, that is clockwise, that is anti-clockwise. So that's not ideal at the moment. What's this one? Anti-clockwise. This one was anti-clockwise. So what I could do is turn that first so that I've got a clockwise one there. Yep. And then right up to put the two corners there. So I've just done a right up at the end there. Now, let's carry out a Sune first of all. And then a Sune mirror. And oops, what's going on? I can't turn my upper face. So before I do that Sune mirror, what I want to do is remove that to the other side. Now, I can happily do that. Okay, all done. I'll put that back. I'll undo the setups. That was one of them. That was another one. And I had this one there. You can see the two corners we wanted to have twisted. Now I've got that one anti-clockwise, so that's where it needs to be. This one needs to be clockwise position. So I've at least got to get these two next to each other. And I can do that fairly simply by something like that. The issue there is that this one needs to turn clockwise. So it means I would have to carry out the sequence twice, which is not a big deal. I'm sure you'll agree. And so in this scenario, rather than trying to think up some other way of doing it, that's probably what I'd do. So there's the first time, and now we do the second. Bring it back, undo that setup move, and undo that one. And you can see that Stalactites has been solved. Is that what it's called? Stalactites? Stalactites has been solved, yes. And so, as I said at the start, kind of like a big block and a good lead up, I'm presuming, to stalactites and stalagmites, which will be somewhere down the track. But there it is, a nice puzzle, stalactites. Well, here's the puzzle for the next video. This one is called the Expert Y Cube. Now you may recall that the beginner Y Cube was just these three white pieces on that white face. The Advanced had a clock here and then a single cubie here. The Expert, it extends it to a big clock. Now technically this is an interesting puzzle because this is not the sort of thing, I mean, of course you can make it. Here I've made it. But ordinarily, if we had a piece like this and like this, we must also have a piece here. The reason for that is this center is immovable. In other words, can I turn that? No, because it's kind of blocked over here. So if it's blocked over there and it goes all the way here, these two are really fused together. So we should have something on them to show that. There's no way that I can move apart those two pieces. So technically this thing has two pairs and a big slice. You just can't see it there. We'll look at all this in the next video.